buongiorno, and welcome to my podcast, My Way of Thinking, or MWOT for short, hosted here by me, Lee Greeno, here live from Man Cave every week. Hope you're all doing well. Obviously, lockdown, we're still in the middle of lockdown, so I hope you're all managing okay. Not quite the same this time, though, as last time, to be fair. Because obviously schools are still open. I'm personally still doing a bit of work. There's still a lot of idiots about, don't get me wrong. Went to the supermarket the other day and there was no toilet roll or dog food, which is a bit strange. No dog food, which I don't really understand the thinking behind that. Oh no, the world's going to end. Let's make sure the dogs have got enough food. Interesting. Some people are interesting, aren't they? And very dim. If you've stockpiled toilet roll, you are dim. Only joking. Let's keep listening. I don't want to lose any. I don't want to lose one of my two listeners. No, that's a joke. Now, My Way of Thinking is all about us, amazing human beings that all have a story to tell. Those stories can vary massively. But with the guests I'll be interviewing, you'll always be able to take a little bit of advice or insight into how extraordinary we can all be. Remember 4 rules. 1, no bullshitting. 2, no judging. 3, no negativity. And 4, have fun. Now, today I'm talking to Cleveland Hughes, lovely guy. He runs the Healing Mitts International Boxing Training System, which is all about a boxing program with mental health benefits. He's in Chicago. Lovely chap. He was in his car for the interview, but the sound was fine. And everything he was saying, he's just so keyed up, such a professional, and what he's doing with this boxing training is just brilliant and profound. So make sure you keep listening. It's a great podcast and you'll learn a lot. Okay, here's me speaking with Cleveland. So welcome, My Way of Thinking welcomes Cleveland Hughes here today, all the way from Chicago. Welcome, Cleveland.
Woo. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem at all. And as you can see, this is the Man Cave here. But as you can see, I don't know if you're aware, but here in the UK, we're about to have a lockdown again from tomorrow. I don't know if you'd heard about that, no?
No, I haven't heard about it.
Yeah. So we've been locking down in different regions. But then, of course, what happened is it's still spreading. So as from tomorrow for 4 weeks, the whole country's on lockdown. So what we're doing is just brought some gym equipment in because the gyms are closed and just trying to, you know what I mean, stay nice. Healthy. What's the situation like where you are?
We're at the point where there are more regulations coming down from the state. Restaurants are all shut down. Gyms are still open, and fingers crossed, hopefully they stay open. But doesn't look like it because the numbers are going crazy over here. Yeah. So I think we're probably going to be looking at a lockdown here soon too.
Yeah, no,
unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, right. Now, I always like to start off the interview with some fun facts or some fun stories. And obviously, you're in Chicago, where I've never been to Chicago. I'd love to go. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about these facts and see if you think they're correct or not, okay? So, okay. Apparently, it's the home of the Twinkie. Jimmy Dwyer worked as a manager at the famous Hostess Brands factory, and during this time, he created a pastry that was filled with cream. His invention, the Twinkie, was launched in 1930, and that was in Chicago, apparently. Do you eat them?
That would make no. No.
What were you going to say? That would make sense.
I mean, that sounds like that definitely sounds like a Midwest pastry for sure.
Well,
Midwest,
you've just learnt something there, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, this one interests me. You should know this one. Flowing through downtown Chicago, the Chicago River has a fascinating history. Not only does the river run through various systems and canals, but it's also the only river in the world that flows backwards. Is that true?
Mind blowing.
You know,
I did not, and I'm not from Chicago, so
right.
I'm allowed to not know these things.
How long have you been in Chicago?
2 years.
Right. Okay. I'll let you
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
So you didn't grow up. You didn't grow up at school there and learn all these things.
I did not know.
Now, here's a good one for you. The innovation in television transformed voting by now this is an interesting one with what's going on over there at the minute, by letting
Yeah.
citizens witness important political matters in the comfort of their own home. The presidential candidates between John Fitzgerald Kennedy and Richard Nixon was the first to be broadcast on television from Chicago's CBS channel network in September 1960. The first ever televised presidential debate. What do you think about
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And you know what they said, that ever since that they started to broadcast, all the presidents that we've elected have been over 6 feet tall. It's kind of weird.
that? I know, yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
That's
What's
kind of weird.
what's the situation like at the minute? Because we obviously over here we get all the news, but any news on who's winning or anything like that, or are you bothered? Or
I mean, the city is pretty calm right now, so it's still from the last time I looked, the race looks extremely close,
yeah,
which seems ridiculous to me, but
yeah.
it's extremely close. But you know, all the city is boarded up and things like that
I
for
know.
all
Is it?
that good stuff,
Is
just in
it?
case.
Is it worrying? Is it sort of a worrying? Can you feel sort of worried there? I'd be worried sick.
Yeah, yeah. It's never been like this before since I've been an adult in America, that we need to prepare for the election, that there might be riots
Oh,
and
yeah.
such. And it's like I don't. It's kind of hard to wrap my mind around that's a thing.
Yeah, it's
you
mad.
know?
It's madness. I was talking about this with a few of my friends over the weekend, and over here, football's a big thing over here.
Yeah.
But you imagine if you're arguing over football and who's going to win, and who's going to be the new manager. And so what you say is, right, I'm going to go and buy a gun in case my manager doesn't win, and I'm going to riot. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like that. Doesn't make any sense
Yeah, it's
to
crazy,
me.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just too much.
So hopefully they get through it. Who knows? I mean, if Trump wins, I think there'll be riots. If Trump doesn't win, I think there'll be riots.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is that regardless, I think there will be some sort of, hopefully not violent, but definitely there will be protests, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, and then the final. This is an interesting one. The next time you go to a blood bank to donate, remember that thanks to Dr. Bernard Fantas for introducing this important and helpful concept at Cook County Hospital in Chicago. Was the very first blood bank in 1937. It established a blood bank in the United States, and it allowed doctors to store and examine donated blood. Hospitals around the states opened their own blood banks soon after. So that's an interesting one.
All right, land of the blood banks.
The blood banks, and it's all do you have places where they give blood over there? Because we do it. We have sessions where if we want, we can go and give blood over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they have those. Yeah, blood drives is what we call them.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
always a very good thing, especially if you need it.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, that's enough boring facts from Chicago.
Those are good. I learned something.
Yeah. So whereabouts were you? So tell us, Cleveland, a little bit about you growing up, and whereabouts in the States did you start off then?
Oh, I grew up in California, in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's really nice. Unfortunately, it's become a very, very expensive place to live. So that's why I'm in Chicago now, because I wanted to go to a city that had the same amount of potential, some growth, but was a little bit cheaper to live. And they have winters and things here, so it's definitely cheaper because people don't like the cold. But
yeah,
I started in.
Is it right? Is it right that in California you pay 50% tax?
Something like that. It feels that way. It definitely
Crazy, isn't
feels
it?
that way. Yeah, it's very expensive to live there, and the cost of housing is incredible. You know, I imagine that there are places in the UK that are extremely expensive to live as well. It's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And what a lot of people do here, expect like London's expensive. If you
Hmm.
work in London, what you tend to do is live on the outskirts and then travel into London because it's just too expensive to live there.
Yeah, nuts.
So growing up then, so you grew up California, San Francisco. What was growing up like? Did you go college, university? Tell us a bit about that.
Um, I never really I never really got into school,
Yeah,
like, going to college and things like that. I did take many courses, but I took courses just on things that I was interested in.
yeah,
I never really pursued like the full on, degrees that, diplomas and certificates that people get. But like I took all the classes I wanted to learn things about, like exercise science, psychology, physiology, just the ones I wanted to learn things about, because I was very clear to me very early on that I was going to be a trainer. And in the United States, you don't need a 4-year degree to be a personal trainer. You just need to get a certification. So I got certifications and specialized my knowledge in the things I wanted to learn about.
So you wanted to, so from an early age, then you were always into sport.
Yes, I was always into sports, and that's kind of how my whole journey into the boxing world got started.
What sort of sports did you enjoy at school?
Well, I loved basketball and football, but and that would be American football, not your football.
not the proper football.
Not the proper football, not the one that came first. The one that we changed the name of, that one.
Yeah, soccer.
Soccer. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
no, I enjoyed, like I said, I played basketball and American football. So, yeah,
Yeah.
those are my sports.
I would guess, is the standard quite high over there? So, for instance, if you're into basketball and you want to sort of make a career out of it, I would guess the standard's really high if you really wanted to do well at that kind of sport. Is that right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. The athletes that play at that level are incredible. Unbelievable. In fact,
Dedicated.
yeah, they're just unbelievable. The
Yeah.
things that they can do.
Yeah. And did you feel like you didn't love one sport enough to be dedicated to it?
Yeah, I mean, I love those sports equally. I think I like basketball more, and it became very clear to me that I wasn't going to be a professional basketball player because I just didn't have the frame for that. I wasn't
Mm.
big enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's hard for a guy 5'9", 135 pounds to be successful in the NBA. It's
Yeah.
really difficult.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
So when you left school, did you go to university, college over there, or what did you do after that?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I did. I did some college courses here, some university courses. I mean, as you call them,
Yeah, yeah,
because the university here is like a different, like we have like community colleges, so we have like smaller, like 2-year colleges, what we call junior college,
yeah.
and then we have like the 4-year universities. So I did mostly junior college.
Oh, right. Okay. So then obviously boxing must have sparked an interest. When did that happen?
Well, boxing. Well, my story is that I wanted to be a professional athlete, and after I was done with high school, I basically ran out of options. I didn't have anything else that I was going to be able to do because of my frame. Wasn't going to be able to play American football or basketball. I was too small for that, and I actually fell into a depression.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was really devastating for me because I didn't really have any direction of where I was going to go in my life, and started going to therapy.
Yeah.
When I started going to therapy, my therapist suggested I should try boxing because of I complained about my size, and he was like, don't let that be something to deter you from playing sports, because boxing has weight classes, you know, and I think I think it's around 60 kilograms. is what
Yeah.
I weigh, somewhere around there, 65 kilograms. Just to kind of give you a perspective of my size, because I said 135 pounds, but we don't,
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
that's
and
money in the United Kingdom, right?
yeah, and you're 5'9". That's not
Yes.
short by
No,
any
I'm not.
by any
I'm
measure.
not. Yeah, I'm not short, but I'm thin, which is really great for boxing. It's really
Yeah.
great for boxing.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good.
I know the United Kingdom has a lot of great boxers and enjoy the sport a lot there as well. Am I
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. With Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Yeah. It's
Oh,
yeah. It's
that's
building up
exciting.
nicely. It's
That's
building.
exciting.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
Yes, it's
It's
gotta
just that
happen.
they are just phenomenal. I mean, you know more than me. You're a boxer, but they are
Yeah.
phenomenal. I love boxing, and they are phenomenal athletes. And
Oh yes.
you training uh, and knowing a lot about boxing, you must realise that when you weigh 17, 18 stone and can
Yes.
keep fighting that fast and that well for 12 rounds, that is pretty
Yeah.
phenomenal fitness level, isn't it?
It's nuts. It's unheard of, to be honest. Like normal people just can't do it. These guys are on another level in a league of their own.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Now, what's interesting to me is you got depressed, and is that because in America, in college, it's all about being big and muscular, and the sports are like that? Because over here, we would think if you're fit, regardless of your size, and if you're skinny, there's always, there's martial arts, there's boxing, football. We have some footballers over here that are brilliant who are small. So
mhm.
I'm quite surprised that you got depressed about that. Was it because you wanted, because of the American footballers, they're all big, and was that what it was?
Well, yeah. I mean, because I played high school, and it was clear that there were some guys in high school football that were gonna go and play college ball. They were grown. They were big men.
Yeah,
At the age of 16 and 17. And those are the guys that discouraged me the most. Trying to tackle those guys, or trying to
yeah,
guard those guys. It's very hard. And then at the next level, everyone was that size. There
yeah,
was no undersized players. And in American football here, in college there are no undersized players.
yeah,
Like everybody is a solid. And
yeah,
it being as thin as I was, I was more depressed because I just didn't have anything to do.
yeah.
I didn't know where I was going. I was kind of I was lost. I didn't have a purpose, and that was what really caused it. But I mean, I knew early on that I wasn't going to be able to do this at the highest level, just because that was going to hold me
Yeah.
back.
What age were you, Cleveland, when this happened?
18,
Yeah.
like 18, 19,
Yeah,
about.
yeah. It's a
Yeah.
frustrating age because people will say to you what do you want to do, and sometimes you don't know, and you feel the pressure, and you're like, what
Yeah.
am I going to do with my life? But the reality is, you're only a young kid. The whole world's in front of you. But it's surprising that over there you felt this pressure of, I need to know, I need to have a path, which I totally understand. But it's quite strange when you look back. You probably think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I was able to have a conversation with my 18-year-old self, the things I would have said would have really put me in a different mindset. But I ended up getting into the right mindset over time. But yes, totally.
And what were your parents like? Were they? How did you get on with your parents over this? Did you talk to them about it? What?
I mean, my parents, they were really busy.
Yeah,
You know, they would work, and they would work long hours, and I would see them from time to time, but for the most part, by the time I was an adult, I was living with them, but I was basically on my own. Like, go
yeah,
ahead and figure your stuff out for yourself, kind of thing. They were there to support me, of course, but what they really wanted for me to do was gain independence.
yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. I think sometimes it's good when you mentioned the therapist, when you're at that age, if you can meet a mentor or someone to look up to, you know what I mean? I think that's
Yeah.
great for kids of that age sometimes. I think a lot of kids miss that. And I think, like you say, this therapist mentioned this. and maybe that was the start of, you know, looking up to someone telling you, and oh yeah, and sparking an idea. I think you need that sometimes, don't you?
Yes, yes, and that's basically what ended up. That's what I really needed. I just needed somebody to give me the confidence to move forward in my life.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us about boxing then. What do you enjoy about boxing? Because I mean, I've read some stuff that you've wrote on that, and you talk about sort of regulating your emotions and giving you the ability to overcome obstacles. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, boxing is a really interesting sport because it's the only sport where the goal is to injure your opponent. It's
Yeah,
that's a knockout. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's the only sport where that's the goal. And when you're playing that kind of sport, when you're involved in that kind of sport, and obviously I said playing, but this is a sport that we don't play. You don't play boxing. You get hit in the face. You have to learn to manage your anxiety, because if you go in there and you think too much about getting hurt, you'll get hurt. You
mm,
know, you have to go in there and uh, be relaxed and learn and see, and and feel, and you have to read your opponent. And I feel like when I left the gym, the things that I had learned in the gym were going with me everywhere. I felt more confident, I felt more in control, I felt almost like a peace come over me. Because you had to find that peace when someone was punching you in the face. So it was a lot easier for me to find peace while I was walking down the street.
yeah, yeah. I totally understand that. When I was a kid, I did a bit of boxing, a bit of martial arts, and I still get the bag out and things like that. But what I love about boxing is, um, after every fight, the boxers will shake hands. There's a mutual uh, relationship there where they know each other could really hurt each other. And they don't want to hurt each other. They want to win, of course, and you can get a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
knockout, but they still want the other fighter to walk away. And there's that camaraderie, isn't there? And there's
Oh
no other sport with that camaraderie where you can get, with the opponent.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you could basically try to kill the guy, and then afterwards, and obviously that's not what you want. You never, like the other, nobody wants anybody to get hurt. Everybody wants the other fighter to go home to their family. But yeah, the camaraderie, especially, I mean, in the beginning, there's always a lot of, it's a fight, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a lot of this animosity between the two fighters, but afterwards, it's always good
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of it's hype as well, and it's
Yes.
yeah, yeah. But the other thing is as well, I suppose, it's one of those sports where, like you say, you can't let emotions guide you. It's got to be the training and the technique that guides you. You can't get angry, because
Yeah.
then the training disappears and your emotions, overtake you. And like you say, you can relate that to normal life as well, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's basically what I mean. And like I said, after I started boxing, I saw the therapist a few more times, but after that, boxing had become the thing that I needed to help keep me grounded.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And what do you think of the current situation between, we talk about Joshua and Fury, but Wilder's getting quite a lot of press over here. Apparently, things are, because obviously he's your man over there, isn't he? What's happening with old Wilder?
um, you know, if you look back, if did you see the fights between yeah, the first fight was after Tyson Fury had basically gone to hell and back, you know.
Yeah.
The second fight, he's back to himself, and you've got the real Tyson Fury now. And
Yeah.
I think Deontay Wilder is he's a very powerful fighter. I want to
Yeah.
say it the right way.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
very powerful fighter, but when it comes to boxing skills, man, Tyson Fury, man,
Technically.
technically just much better,
Yeah. Yeah.
bigger, bigger, faster, and more skilled. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard. It's going to be really hard for Deontay Wilder to overcome that with just power.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
think when you if you put yourself in Wilder's, any opponent against Fury, is such a hard boxer to fight, isn't he?
he's so big. He's so big. He's so agile, and he's so skilled. It's not, you know. Yeah, no, it's not, definitely not something. It's not a walk in the park. I don't think anybody is excited about fighting Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Do you think Wilder's lost it a little bit because of the loss? The loss has hit him that hard. He's struggling to accept it.
I think he's a warrior, and that fighting spirit is something that's what he's going to go to. I don't know how the loss affected him. I mean, it was a tough loss. He got hurt pretty decently in that fight. He had a ruptured eardrum, which is very painful.
Yeah.
Like, he got injured in that fight, and and he was upset that his corner stopped the fight. And but I'm sure it's hard on him, but at the same time, man, this is the top of the top. And he made it. He made it all the way up to the top, and he's made a lot of money. So, my hat's off to him. Like, he's living the dream.
Yeah, I hope he comes back because, with Fury, Joshua, I think he should be involved with those two, and fight. And him and Joshua would be a great fight. So hopefully he'll come back fighting fit, which is good.
Well, that's what everybody's wanted to see for the last 3 years is Wilder and Joshua.
Yeah.
I would love to see that fight.
Oh God, yeah. Anyway, let's now talk about so you've got into boxing. You've realised you've really enjoyed it. So then, what do you do next? Because now you've started. You're the founder and owner of Healing Mixed Boxing. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, yeah. So I've been dealing with in the beginning, I thought my depression was a result of what was going on in my life, but it turned out to be biological.
Yeah.
It turned out to be something that I live with every day and that I have to be very mindful of, and trying to keep myself healthy. And these mental health things can kind of sneak up on you out of nowhere. So, yeah. So through the sport of boxing, I had always. That's how I regulated.
Yeah.
And so whenever I was boxing, I felt healthy. And if I ever got to a point where I wasn't boxing, then things got difficult for me. So it became a mission of mine to help other people regulate their emotions through boxing. And it was kind of like an aha moment for me because I started asking all my clients, well, why do you box? And it wasn't because they wanted to stay fit or anything like that. It was because, I'm angry, or, I was in a bad relationship, I have anxiety, I'm depressed, etc. So I created this program that's helping people with depression, anxiety, stress, mental illness, and disability. So we're expanding. We're trying to work with aging population. What I want to help people that need help, basically, especially because the mental health world is not one that most people want to enter into.
Yeah. No, people don't realize that. It's an amazing thing. I mean, boxing, any kind of exercise, it really does. If you're struggling with mental health, it is such a brilliant thing, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So with this then, this healing mixed boxing, what is it? Is it a gym? Have you actually started your own gym, your boxing gym?
Yes. It's a boxing studio, small, intimate, mostly, small groups, one-on-one training, where I work with people basically referred to me from, therapists, doctors, etc., that are dealing with, high levels of anxiety, depression, and I just help them. I give them the tools to help them regulate emotionally. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds brilliant, and especially if you get people coming in and they're suffering with depression or mental health problems, and you can see the transformation of you training them and them they're feeling better. That must feel great, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It feels awesome.
So, what are you hoping to do with this then, going forward? Would you like to have more of them, or a bigger gym, or?
Well, I mean, my plan is to spread the knowledge of what the system I created can do for people. So I plan on I've created a certification, and like I said, I'm working with these doctors and therapists um, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to work with boxing coaches and fitness trainers to educate them about how to work with people that are suffering with anxiety, stress, depression, mental illness, disabilities, how to assess the situation and know when to refer out, you know what I mean, and when there is a person in front of you that you can help and how to help them, kind of thing. So that my goal is to spread the knowledge and make the Healing Mitts Boxing program available to people, starting nationwide and then worldwide.
Oh, going for it.
Yes.
That's it. Well,
Yep.
I mean, the thing is, if you're working with therapists and things like that, they can refer the perfect people to you, can't they? That can really get a lot out of this system.
Yes.
So it is, it could be a really brilliant thing if it, to spread worldwide.
Oh yeah. Yep. Once we're starting with the city of Chicago, and then we'll go from there.
And then the world at your oyster.
Exactly.
Now, when you do this, so I take it that every person that you coach, you do an individual plan for, or are you gonna come out? You say a certificate. How does that work?
So when it comes to certifying trainers, it basically, the cool thing is that the way we have this set up is depending on the coach, right? The coach everyone's going to learn the overall system, and then after you've learned the system and you've gained the certification, you can specialize. So like I said, I've got therapists and social workers that are what we call trauma informed, basically that can teach people how to talk to people that have dealt with trauma.
Mm.
So if you want to work with people that have been in like domestic violence, maybe been incarcerated or such, those are the trauma informed types. And then we'll have people that decide that they want to work with people with disabilities.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I have a behavioral therapist that works with people on the autism spectrum, etc. So my thing is that I want to get people to start using the system with everyday people, and then specialize
yeah,
in whatever is their passion.
yeah, yeah.
Like my passion is depression and anxiety. Those are the people I want to work with.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Wow, that sounds brilliant.
I think it's a good idea, and I think that it's going to help a lot of people.
Definitely, definitely. And you're passionate as well. So your passionate comes over because you've got to be passionate. But yeah, it sounds like a brilliant idea because over here, we have exercise, and exercise can help with mental health. But you're actually specialising, which is great because sometimes people will go to the gym, but they don't know, what do you do at the gym? Do I go on the treadmill for half hour? Whereas you're saying, hold on, what's your issue? What sort of sports do you like? If you like boxing, so you're specialising, which is a great thing, because a big worry for people with mental health is if they say, right, I'm going to a gym, they go to a gym, they don't enjoy it, and then they never go again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely,
So,
totally.
well, I would refer you. If get in the UK, you need to get over the UK and work with some people over here. So so that'd be great to see. Yeah, once you've tackled America, of course.
Yeah, once this global pandemic thing becomes under some sort of control, then we'll be able to start branching out and doing more work for people around the world.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, future-wise, sort of, you want this to spread sort of as a franchise and go globally. Then,
Yes.
what do you think the biggest obstacles? What's going to be the hardest things to stop you? Do you think?
I mean, obviously, beyond the pandemic, it's just the humility of trainers in the industry. I think that sometimes people, like other boxing coaches, hear what I'm saying and they think that we're doing the same thing, and we're definitely not doing the same thing. This is very specific,
Yeah.
and unless you're a boxing coach that's also, a therapist and all these other things together, then we're doing two totally different things. And I think that's going to be the biggest obstacle, is getting people to realize that what we're doing is different, and the program can add much more to what we offer
Yeah.
as a coach. You can
Yeah.
offer more as a coach. You can
Yeah.
market yourself to more clients
Yeah.
with the system.
Yeah, because it's specialized. So, if you get someone with anger issues and you're coaching them,
Mm-hmm.
you'll know how to deal with that. Whereas a
Exactly.
normal boxing coach won't have those skills sometimes to deal with that. So I totally
Yeah.
understand what.
Yeah, it would be the coach playing it by ear. The
Mm,
coach wouldn't be as prepared
yeah, yeah,
as a coach that I would train. And that's the whole thing, is just being prepared. Only amateurs go into the game unprepared.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
pros are rehearsed and ready for anything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, you say it'll be difficult obstacles, but I think what you've got to do is you're doing the right thing now. Just start it, and people will see the benefits. Because
Yes.
some of these old school trainers and coaches, you could tell them all down. They're like, that's rubbish. But once
Yeah.
people start seeing it, it'll have a ripple effect. So I think that's how it'll work
Yeah.
for you. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Now, any advice? Obviously, people out there who have maybe got mental health issues or have suffered with depression in the past, what sort of advice would you give them, Cleveland?
I would tell them to don't let the fear and isolation take over. Seek out help, talk to someone, do something, move your body. Staying, putting yourself in a situation where you're isolated in a dark room, or is only gonna exacerbate things. Get out, and it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to struggle, but just make sure that you seek out support. Don't go this alone. That's
Yeah,
not the right way to go about it. Go together. Trust me.
yeah,
Have friends. See a therapist. Do something. Don't just sit in your depression. It
yeah.
won't make it get better. It won't just go away. That's not how it works.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And also, so I always ask my guests to come up with a favorite. So whether it's a favorite song, film, or book, but something that we can all go and watch or listen to or read, something that's inspired you. Maybe Have you thought of one for today?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books. It's actually called The Slightest Edge. Oh yeah, so the book, it breaks down your everyday habits into a way that you can accomplish bigger goals, and basically breaks it down. So something that seems difficult, like writing a book. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, good. Something that seems difficult, like writing a book, actually can be broken down into one page a day.
yeah,
And it kind of helps you get your mind wrapped around how difficult it can be to do things, or how easy it can be, but if you do it a little bit at a time. So
yeah.
that's one of my favorite books.
Oh, I'll have a look at that. And that's a good point, because sometimes people look at the big picture and think, I can't do that. I can't do that. What they need to do is do the little
Yeah.
steps, small steps.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if people want to find more information, I know it's over in America about Healing Mitts Boxing, or have you got a Twitter handle? Where would people be able to contact you or look it up?
Check me out on Instagram at clevelandh.fitness or go to www.healingmitts.org.
Okay. And they can see it over there. And then when you come over to the UK,
Yeah.
they will be first
Yes.
in line.
Yes. That's my hope.
Brilliant. Well, look, thanks ever so much for coming on, Cleveland. What you're doing is just brilliant.
Yes.
I just know with your passion and you're pushing it. I just know you'll do well with this. Just make sure you stick at it, and just keep your passion.
I will.
Yeah, no doubt you will.
I will.
Oh, look, you're getting out of the car now in the sunshine while we've got it raining and miserable here, just to rub it in.
Yes.
Anyway,
I mean, it's cold here, but it's not
nice.
too bad.
It looks nice. Anyway,
it's nice. It's really nice.
Oh, it looks nice. So thanks ever so much for coming on, Cleveland. Make sure next year, if you come on the podcast again next year, if you start grow, if it starts growing, and we'll speak again.
Yes, we will.
Okay, thanks ever so much, Cleveland. You take care.
All right, thank you.
So that's it. Massive thanks again to Cleveland Hughes for joining me today, and also to you for listening or watching if you're on YouTube. Make sure you follow the podcast, because over the coming months, you know what I'm going to say, there's even more extraordinary interviews from around the world. They're all streaming on the usual platforms, including iTunes and Spotify, so leave a rating on there and subscribe, please. To keep up to date on Facebook, just put My Way of Thinking Podcast, and also we're on Twitter, My Way of Thinking, without a G on the end of 3 instead. Every week, I'll also put the whole conversation on YouTube so you can see this beautiful face and this beautiful lockdown beard. Just put My Way of Thinking Podcast. And finally, if you do want to get in touch or you think you might be a great guest, then email me on mwotpodcast@aol.com. Thanks ever so much for listening in. Have a great week, and I'll speak soon.